said to us that you actually do like the sport. You like the game, you like being in there. Chris has made no secret of the fact over the years that he doesn't like boxing. He thinks it's a means to an end. He's called it a mug's game.
You know, for someone to say something like that, I wish he'd get the hell out of the game. We don't need people like him slagging down the sport, which has cured his life. I mean, that's my God-given talent to be a fighter, and to take that away from me, I don't know what I'd do. I love the sport, and for someone like that to knock the sport, which is giving, I don't know, he wouldn't get that from a 9-to-5 job. That's for sure.
You know, there's a lot of people I know who are curious about boxers, their family life, about how they justify what they do to their family. I know we have someone in the audience with a question about Wendy Richard is with us. I think you'd like to ask Nigel something here.
How does your mother feel about you boxing? You know, she must go through hell when you're in the ring, when you're actually working.
Well, when I first started boxing, I was knocking everyone out. My mum was clapping that for my boy Nigel. And I lost to Michael. No, I fought Anthony Logan, and she actually dragged my dad up and told him to stop him from hitting your son, and she wanted to put my dad in the ring, but I said, Mum, it doesn't always go the way you plan, you know, and so now she's been banned from coming to my fight.
Can we talk about the image that you have, because you're very smart this evening, you're very sharply dressed.
I followed you.
Well, you wear it very well. But there used to be more razzmatazz involved, especially when you got in the ring. I remember seeing you in one fight, and you were wearing shorts that wouldn't have looked out of place on Liberace. You were, the Dark Destroyer was everywhere. There was Michael Jackson impersonators. Do you miss all that business?
No, not at all, because I think I wanted to be Nigel Benn, the real Nigel Benn, not this guy that's aggressive, you know, who don't smile or anything. I was just getting aggressive because, Nigel, you got to do this, Nigel, you got to do that, Nigel. I want you to go here, Nigel, I want you to go to Scotland. I didn't enjoy it. Now, I'm enjoying it so much because now I'm in control of my life.
Let me ask you nothing. If you don't mind me saying so, you're a good-looking man. But of course, boxing's a sport when that could change, or at least be altered. If we have a camera, I hope you don't mind this, but can we have a look at Charlie Magri we have in the audience, former champion? No, give me a chance. Charlie, if I'm right, that isn't the nose you were born with, is it?
Yeah, but the funny thing about him, he ain't ugly. Everyone said, like, his face, his nose is gone, but I don't know, I like that. He's got one in boxer's hard looks, and I like that.
He's got a character, so you wouldn't mind it if you wound up?
If he was most probably like Charlie, so I wouldn't mind. No, he looks proper.
Now, there's something here I think I'd like everyone to have a look at. I'm sure you've seen it many times, but if we could show everyone in the audience this and everyone at home. Right. This is Nigel posing for recent spread in Playgirl. Now...
How can you do this to me, man?
I didn't do that to you. And I'm sure just about everyone must have a question about this, but let me go. Mr. Tony Slattery there, what would you ask Nigel?
Hello, Nigel. I was just going to ask why they didn't let you show your packet.
I think that was the question that was on some of our lips, if not everyone's. Nigel, what's the answer?
No comment.
No. Tony, would you pose in Playgirl?
Oh, they wouldn't ask me, for God's sake. I once posed for Farming Weekly.
And I think on that note, we'll return to the boxing, if that's OK with you. Let me go back to the last time you fought Chris. After that fight, you knew you'd been beaten.
Yeah.
What went through your mind?
I don't know, I just went home and cried for about 3 months. I thought to myself, where did I go wrong? I know I was gutted real bad. Real bad. And now I've waited 3 years. Now I'm ready for him. And now I will prepare for him.
You're confident?
Very.
Nigel, it's been good talking to you. I'll speak to you some more later. Nigel Benn, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much, Nigel. We now, of course, turn to Chris Eubank, the WBO champion. Once again, we kick off by taking a quick look at his rise to fame and fortune. Chris, Nigel started by punching me. I hope you're not going to do the same. You're the champion. You're the WO champion. I read one thing in the newspaper that said, as champions go, you've got to be the least popular champion that we have. It said you're an arrogant man. When you read that stuff about you, what do you think? Do you think they're being just horribly unfair, or can you see that maybe there's some reason they're writing that?
The reason is for my behaviour in the ring, the way I perform. But what I'm trying to get over to the public now is that there is a performer and there is a man, and the two are not the same. They are to be separated. When I go into the ring to perform, I behave differently. I can't help it. I call that character Hyde. I'm Jekyll, sitting here right now. And Hyde, he's arrogant and he's bold. He's lion-hearted. He stands tall. He's majestic. He behaves as though he's sublime. At least he puts that over in his posturing. But the man is a normal man who is basically just like any other.
Do you think within the boxing community you're seen as being maybe, if not arrogant, but maybe too confident in yourself? I know we have many former champions in the audience, including Mr. Barry McGuigan.
I think the bottom line about Chris is people do read him wrong, and he's a good man. And at the end of the day, the press love to hate him, but they still write about him, and he's good for our sport. And a lot of the things that he says about the game, a lot of the fighters feel it, but don't say it.
Thank you, Barry. Let me ask you about the fact that money does seem to be your main motivation. I know you've talked about the pride involved, but still financially, it seems you're in it for the finance. Let me go to one of the athletes we have in the audience here. We have Tessa Sanderson here. Tessa, can you relate to that in any way? Do you think that that is maybe what's at the back of many athletes' minds?
No, I don't think so, and that's why I'd like to ask Chris, actually, because in the past you've always talked about sort of money is the major object for you, but I know from an international athlete, the hard work and everything, and especially when I won the Olympic Games, it was fantastic, and I really do feel that every sportsman enjoys winning. And I'd just like to ask you, can you honestly tell us that from the perks and you know, the celebrity status you've had, you've not had a bit of happiness doing the sport that you're doing?
I'm very happy as a person. I don't like hurting people. I don't like... Bad things can happen. Bad things have happened. I don't like that aspect of it. Do you know that over the years, I mean, how many fighters are here? Look at their features. They are a little disfigured. I will be a little disfigured. I don't like that. I wouldn't want that for my son. I don't want that for me. It hurts. This hurts. Tessa, throwing javelins is very hard, and I've got the utmost respect for you doing that when you did. This is about taking punishment, absorbing it, and giving it back out. That's not a nice thing.
But we do get injured as well, sometimes.
Nothing to be compared with the boxer's injuries, obviously. It's direct, and it does, with many fighters, cause a direct problem, if not during, then in most cases after the career is finished. Now,
I think, Chris, I think we've answered the question. I think it's great. We know where you are. Thank you very much. Tessa Sanderson. Chris, you've been choosing your words carefully, but you're obviously a very serious man. We know that. I mean, you're not, let's be honest, you're not big on jokes. But we do have someone in the audience who I think is one of your favourite comedy stars, who has a question for you as well. Paul Whitehouse.
Chris, great mate.
Paul,
do you do a lot of good work for charity?
For anyone who... Okay, yes, I do quite a lot of work.
The answer is you don't like to talk about it, mate.
Chris, I get the feeling when I watch you before the fight, not so much during it, obviously your mind's on other things, but before the fight you are something of a frustrated showman. The way you leap into the ring, the way you posture, the way you carry yourself. We mentioned earlier the concept of pantomime, and I wonder, I mean, let me ask some of the audience who's maybe done a bit of pantomime. Let me ask Linda Lusardi, you've been one or two. Do you think Chris would make a good widow Twanky?
I don't know about widow Twanky. I can't see him in a dress, but I think he'd make a good king rat. But I mean, the thing with pantomime is you have to have fun on stage. I can't imagine Chris ever having fun doing anything.
You do have fun doing some things, don't you, Chris?
I certainly do. I'd have fun having a private conversation with that particular lady.
Fun later.
Fun later. Okay, thank you, Linda Lusardi. Okay.